little bit about these quality management systems. So there are plenty of such quality management systems which can be implemented in food industry. Here you can see these organizations which are responsible for such systems. But why food industry is so eager to implement these systems? Because if food industry produces something of bad quality, it costs really a lot. What are costs of bad quality? There is Duran's rule. Duran, it was a man who was not a veterinarian, but he was responsible for economics. And Duran established such a rule that about 20, even up to 30% of sales profit is lost by poor quality. So these 20, even up to 30%, this is the value of repairs of bad products. So these are money, right? This is money. So if we produce something of bad quality, this is money, loss of money, quite big amount. And we have also another very interesting rule which is related to quality. This is a rule which is called 1-5 rule. According to this rule says that the cost of acquiring a new customer is 5 times higher than the cost of maintaining a constant customer. So it's better to keep our constant customer than to try to have new ones, because it costs less. And another very interesting rule, which is also related to quality, this rule is called 42. It was also established by some economists. This rule says that for every one complaining person who files complaints, who calls the producer, who calls the veterinary inspection and makes compliant, there are 6 other complainants, also dissatisfied, who don't file compliance because they don't have time, don't want. But each of these 6 people affects 7 others. For example, if you buy something of bad quality, sometimes you don't have time to come back to the shop and to give back this product and ask for compensation. But very often, according to this rule, and it's true, you inform your friends or family, don't buy these things because don't buy this thing because this thing is of bad quality. And if you multiply 6 by 7, it gives 42. So if these 6 people buy something of bad quality, 42 people knows that it is not good, and you should avoid this. Who and what creates quality? Management, of course, because management is money. So it's obvious that management creates quality. Who else? Men, workers, people who produce the product. Materials. In food industry, it's obvious that if we use raw material of bad quality, the final product will be also of bad quality. There are two products which can be made of raw material of bad quality, and the final product will be of good quality. Do you know what products can be? That raw material can be even spoiled, but final product will be okay. Sausages? No. Even hot dog, no. No. Vodka. This is the first one, and the second one, this is sugar made of sugar beetroots, because the production of sugar because Poland, this is, let's say, the kingdom of sugar made of beetroots, and during the production of sugar from beetroots, the production process is related to so many chemicals that the final product, even if beetroot will be spoiled, the final product will be okay. The same is with production of vodka. But But of course, if the raw material is better, vodka also will be better. But you can produce vodka from the spoiled potatoes and it will be okay. Because also this product involves very, let's say, chemical process. But other food, no. If you use raw material of bad quality, also final product will be of bad quality. Methods. Also, if you use very modern methods, product probably will be better. Machines. It's obvious that if a machine is of good quality, also product will be of good quality. So we call this rule the rule of 5M. So this is the rule of quality. If you are talking about quality of food, what is important? Of course, we as a consumer, we not only want the product to be very tasty, with very nice smell, but also we want the food product to give us some nutritive values, proteins, vitamins, things like this. What else? Sensory values, because we want food to be tasty, to smell well, nice, to be nice packed, and so on. Technological values, because, for example, during the production of food, we can use very high temperature to kill bacteria, but if we use very high temperature, of course, we will kill plenty of bacteria, but we will destroy plenty of vitamins, minerals, proteins, things like this. So technological values are also very important. And what else? Hygienic quality. Because we as a consumer, we don't want the food product to be contaminated with bacteria, with viruses, with chemical residues. What are serious effects of bad quality of food? Food poisoning. So this is the most serious effect of bad quality of food. If some producer produced something of bad quality, product in which there are poisoning bacteria, of course it can cause food poisoning, and it can end with the trial. Cost of investigations made by official inspection, veterinary inspection. Cost of treatment, people who suffer from food poisoning. And cost of compensation for clients. And it was also calculated by some economists by Harvard University that average cost of one salmonella outbreak, this is about $200,000 up to $300,000, because these are not only costs of treatment, people who suffer from food poisoning, but these are also costs of compensation and things like this. Quality management systems in food industry. So the most basic, these are good manufacturing, good hygienic practice. So this is the base on which other systems are located. So good manufacturing practice rules, good hygiene practice rules, this is the absolutely must, which must be implemented before we start implementation of other quality management systems. The next step, this is HACCP system, which focuses on prevention against food poisoning. HACCP system focuses on food safety. Step up, this is ISO 22000 system, which is wider, which includes also general quality rules. We have also another system which is called FSSC 22000. This is ISO 22000 with additional very strict good manufacturing, good hygienic practice rules. And we have also standard of big retailers, big supermarkets. These are the most popular standards. This is BRC standard, British Retail Consortium standard, and IFS standard, International Food Standard, which is implemented by German and French retailers. So, speaking very briefly about GMP/GHP rules, what consists of these rules? Of course, requirements related to buildings and surroundings. Buildings in which we produce food, also machines and tools which we use for production of foods. It should be a good quality, made of stainless steel, easy for cleaning and disinfection. Also cleaning and disinfection, as you can see in this scheme. Because if we use dirty machines, the product will be, of course, plenty of bacteria and will be not good quality. What else? As I told you previously, raw materials. In food industry, if we use raw material of bad quality, the product will be also bad quality. Staff hygiene. So it's also important, and these rules, hygienic rules, must be implemented and must be strictly used. What else? Storage and distribution. Probably you have heard that in food industry we have a rule which is called first in, first out. It's obvious that food usually has very short expiry date, so we must also be very strict with this first in, first out rules. Trainings. European Union law requires plenty of trainings for staff who works in food industry. Trainings about hazards, microbiological, chemical hazards, about hygienic rules. It should be repeated on a regular basis. Also, I would like to tell you very briefly about HACCP system. So the whole name, because HACCP, this is abbreviation, this is Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point System. And according to European Union law, it is obligatory in all elements of food chain. There's one exception, primary production. So HACCP system is not obligatory for implementation during primary production. It means when we breed cows, pigs, from which we have meat. Also, it's not obligatory for implementation during, let's say, production of vegetables, fruits, etc. But for other steps of food chain, this is obligatory, according to European Union Law Regulation 178 from 2004. So this HACCP system is used for production of food and feed also. So for production of pet food, also HACCP system is obligatory, also for production of feedstuff for cows, pigs, goats, lambs. This is system of internal control. What does it mean? It means that this system must be implemented by producer himself or herself. This system is not implemented by veterinary inspection. No, veterinary inspection also can make audits of this system, can control this system, but it's not responsible for implementation. Producer is responsible for implementation of this system. And this is a system which ensures health quality of food. What is the essence of HACCP system? So this is tool for protection consumers against food origin hazards, microbiological, chemical, physical hazards. Food production without HACCP system. It used to be before European Union implemented this system into the law. So it was previously. So we have different things which are related with production of food. Of course, raw materials and additives, staff workers, technology, machines and tools. And ready-to-eat product was examined. Samples were taken and samples were examined. And very often, because probably you know that examination for some pathogens or some pathogenic bacteria can last even a couple of days. For example, for salmonella, it can last 5-6 days. And usually, product has very short expiry date. People suffered from food poisoning, and laboratory has found that there is a salmonella in product. So we have lack of food safety if we produce food without HACCP system. If we produce food with using of HACCP system, HACCP system is related to all of these things. So we check raw material, which is used for production, or additives, or packaging materials. Stuff is under control, must be strict with some procedures, some instructions. We control technology, steps during production of some food. And of course, we have under control machines and tools which are used in production. And ready-to-eat product has a better food safety, but we cannot guarantee 100% of safety. Why? Because we cannot predict some things, because we try to predict, but it's impossible to predict all hazards. You know that before pandemic, we didn't know that such virus exists, right? So the same situation here during the production of food. We cannot predict some hazards. Some of them, yes, we can, but some we cannot. So we can guarantee more food safety with using of HACCP system, but not 100%. If we want to be 100% sure that our food is safe, we should examine all food, but it's impossible to examine all sausage, to examine all candies, every bottle of beer, every bottle of water. It's impossible. So with any systems like HACCP system, we can guarantee more food safety, but not 100%. It's impossible. I'm also auditor of quality management systems. So basing on my experience, I can tell you about the most frequent problems in implementation of HACCP system. Lack or not efficient training. Usually because people from food processing plants are responsible for implementation of the system. Quite often they are not well trained. They usually undergo only theoretical training, and it's not good because theoretical knowledge about HACCP system is really nothing. Such people responsible for implementation of HACCP systems, HACCP systems should be practically trained how to prepare documentation of the system. Another very common problem relating to HACCP system is basing only on ready-to-use documentation, which is copied from another plant or just from book. And such system is not real system, so we must avoid doing it like this. We can use such documentation, but as a base for our own documentation. And once again, lack of trainings for workers, for staff. They also should have knowledge what HACCP system is. So they should be involved in this system. What else? Not fully prepared product description, because documentation of HACCP system consists of some documents. And the first document, this is description of the product. And not well prepared description also is the problem which occurs very, very often. Lack of verification of the flow diagram process. Flow diagram, these are steps of production of some food products. Another thing which very often is made in the wrong way, this is not properly made hazard analysis. Not every hazard is included. Especially, we must think about pathogenic bacteria, which can be related to something. And too many critical control points or critical control points which are established not at these really most important steps. Too extensive and unnecessary documentation also occur very often. It's not good. If there is too much documentation, people don't want to work with such many documents, such big amount of procedures. HACCP system should be updated. And also it occurs very often that the system is not updated and it's not reviewed. It also happens that the system is only on paper and it's not implemented in real life. And the top management must be involved in this system. This is also a requirement of European Union food law. And system should be verified with using of some tools. If we don't verify the system, we don't know if system is efficient. So that's it about HACCP system, and now a few words about ISO 22000 norm. So HACCP system is obligatory. According to European Union law, it is obligatory. But ISO 22000 norm, it's voluntary norm. So food processing plants are not obliged to implement. They can, but it's not a must. What is this ISO 22000 norm? So the whole name of this norm, this is Food Safety Management System for organizations in the food chain. So every establishment which is related to food chain can implement this norm. And this norm connects issues related to HACCP system as a base, good manufacturing, good hygienic practice rules, which in the system are called prerequisite programs, and general management rules, which are set in ISO 9000 norm. This is the general norm for quality management in all branches of industry, not only in food industry. And also traceability is involved in this norm, very important part. So what are benefits of implementation of this norm for food processing plants? This is international standard, so it means that it's recognized all over the world. So it harmonizes requirements for food safety management. And this system can be implemented in all establishments related to food chain, not only in food processing plants, but also in establishments which produce packagings for food, food additives, and so on. This norm has a structure similar to other ISO norms, so it can be integrated with other ISO norms. And this is the basis for auditing and certification. A special kind of this ISO 22000 norm is a norm which is called FSSC. The whole name, this is Food Safety System Certification Scheme. And this is this ISO 22000 norm extended with very detailed good manufacturing, good hygienic practice requirements. And also you can find this FSSC norm, which is implemented in many food industries. So this FSSC norm is recognized by Global Food Safety Initiative, which is organization for all food standards and is accepted worldwide by retailers, by big supermarkets, and by food manufacturers. I would like to tell you also about the BRC standard. I'm an auditor of this BRC standard, and BRC standard, this is BRC, this abbreviation from British Retail Consortium. This is the whole name. And this is standard which was developed in 1998 in United Kingdom and was established by big retailers, by big supermarkets, British supermarkets. And the aim of the standard is to define safety and quality requirements in food production facilities that which supply to supermarket chain. Because big supermarkets decided to establish requirements for companies which produce for their shelves, for their markets. And currently we have 9 versions of this standard. And this standard consists of plenty of very strict requirements. What are benefits of this standard? So, satisfying customers' expectation regarding the guarantee of high quality of products. Meeting the safety, legality, and quality. This is also very important for us as customers, as consumers. And opening the road to cooperation with trade networks, with big retailers, and strengthen this cooperation. Thanks to implementation of this standard, it can limit the number of another audits made by supermarkets, by contractors. And of course, it is very effective tool for management of production processes. This BRC standard consists of 12 fundamental requirements. The first fundamental requirement, this is a requirement that senior management must be involved in this system. It's very important that senior management should be involved in the system, should be interested in the system. The second fundamental requirement, this is implementation of HACCP system. And this standard gives very detailed requirements of the HACCP system. Another fundamental requirement, this is implementation of internal audits. Internal audits must be done on a regular basis. Another requirement, this is management of suppliers of raw materials and packaging. So they should be controlled, they should be monitored, checked if they give us good raw material and good additives and good packaging. Corrective and preventive actions. If there are some problems, instantly corrective actions must be done, must be made to remove the cause of such problem and to avoid such problems in the future. Traceability, it's also a very important thing, to trace the product, starting from raw material with all additives, all packagings also must be traceable till the final retailer. Also, there are some rules which are related to product flow and segregation. You know that we must avoid cross-contamination. It means contamination between raw material and ready-to-eat product, right? So this is also the very important thing. Housekeeping and hygiene, so cleaning, disinfection, personal hygienic rules also must be very strictly implemented and controlled. Management of allergens. This is an important thing. Plenty of people suffer from different food intolerances, food allergies. And food producers should be very strict with this problem, should avoid cross-contamination. Control of operation. Control parameters which are important to give safety of consumer. Proper temperatures during storage, during processing, and other important parameters. And labeling and pack control. It's important also if label is properly designed, if label contains all important information for consumer. For example, about all ingredients, about allergens, about producers, and things like that. And the last fundamental requirement of BRC system is training. Training for all staff which is involved in producing of food. And I would like also to tell you about another standard, which is called IFS, International Food Standard. This is a standard which was developed later than BRC standard in 2002 by a German trader organization with the intention of auditing food manufacturers producing under the brand name of the retailer chain. Also, French retailers were involved in this standard. So nowadays we have such situation that British supermarkets require BRC standard and French require IFS, and German can require both, or BRC or IFS. But German trader organization established IFS standard. They are nearly similar. And of course, the problem is money, because if some food producer wants to sell his products, for example, to British supermarkets, is obliged to implement BRC. If wants to sell for French, is obliged to implement IFS. But for example, if wants to sell products to German supermarkets, German say, okay, you can choose BRC or IFS. But of course, if wants to have both standards, must pay to this organization fee. IFS standard consists of also very basic requirements which must be implemented. They are called knockout requirements. If these fundamental requirements are not implemented, audit is finished and there is no certification. The certification process ends if these requirements are not implemented. And in this standard there is about 275 different requirements, and 10 of these are these knockout requirements, the most important ones. At the end of my lecture, because I would like to make my lecture a little bit shorter, because I have problem with my throat, my voice, as you can hear. Because in Poland now it's very cold, about 10-11 degrees Celsius, and so I have problem with my throat. So I would like to finish earlier maybe, because I cannot speak. So at the end I would like to tell you about another standard, which is very interesting. Maybe you haven't heard about this standard before. It's called Food Defense Standard. And it's quite very popular. It started to be implemented in United States, but now it's also popular in European Union food processing plants, and it can be a part of BRC and IFS standard also. What does it mean, food defense? So this standard concerns the protection of food from the terrorist exposure. So this standard must be implemented to prevent against intentional contamination. And this term, food defense, appeared in United States after the World Trade Center attacks. Because maybe you have heard that after World Trade Center attacks, it was in the USA problem with some biological attacks. And after this, they implemented this food defense standard. So, American organization, USDA, which is responsible for food safety, and also these big retailer standards as IFS and BRC, encourage food plants to implement this food defense standard. Because this contributes to increasing public safety and protecting the credibility of food producers. So food defense, it's not the same as food safety. So these are not the same meanings. Food defense, this is protecting food resources from intentionally contamination. Intentionally, this is the keyword. Intentionally, it's here the keyword. Intentional contamination by chemical, biological, or other harmful substances by people who want to harm the plant or the people, the population. What can be the target of such attack? Harm to the food manufacturer, or destroying the economy of the country, or killing people, intentional killing people, or intended actions. These intended actions are not usually rational and rare and are difficult to predict. And this is very, this is very, special situation, because we are not able to predict what people want to do. Sometimes people want to harm people because of some, ideas or things like this. In the United States, people who are proved to intentionally contaminate food are being treated as terrorists because it's treated as a terrorist act.